everyone, this is Janet Wakeland with Remarkably Created, and I'm back with even more products from the 2023 Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog. We did 8 videos focused on the 8 product suites, and then starting last night, Monday the 7th, we began looking at other products that are in the catalog, and I will be doing a nightly video from August 7th through the 13th, so Monday through Sunday, every night at 9 p.m. Central Time. And I wrote down just a few statistics for you of just how much is in that amazing 84 catalog. So you saw the 8 cohesive suites, and then there are 69 stamps, and that includes the stamps that are part of the suites. There are 27 bundles, okay? Bundles are a stamp and either dies or punches, so there are 27 bundles. There are 5 embossing folders. There are 14 paper packs, 7 new ribbons, 5 new punches, and 8 new embellishment packs. So lots and lots of stuff packed into that catalog. And if you are not a demonstrator and you live in the United States and you haven't requested a copy of that catalog yet, make sure you message me because it's full of hundreds of full color ideas, not just details on the products. So what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be looking at 2 specific fall bundles. So we're going to be looking at fall, and I'll get the glare off the one stamp set in just a minute. And the autumn leaves is actually also an autumn or fall set, but this was featured in our video on All About Autumn, the actual suite that includes that. So what we're going to be looking at in this video is the Fruitful Blessings Bundle, and we're going to be looking at the Rustic Crate Bundle. So let's start first with the Fruitful Blessings. This is actually a really, really beautiful stamp set that you can do a lot of great coloring techniques. You can use your Stampin' Write markers, you could use your chalks, you can use your Stampin' Blends, you can use your blending brushes, but you can also go ahead and leave it plain. Grateful for you, wishing you many blessings, hello friend. You've got the fall with the the acorns, some pears, some beautiful flowers, and a leaf. And then in the die set, you're going to have dies that cut this flower shape. I'm going to move this over just a little bit. You're going to be able to cut the pears. You're going to be able to cut the acorns. You're going to be able to cut that leaf. So all of the images get cut out. And then what's great is you'll be able to then, this cuts this whole stamped image out, but you could also go ahead and then add some 3-dimensional acorns, because the acorn here is the same size as this acorn as well. And then just like a lot of Stampin' Up! Dies, you have what I call bonus dies. And these are dies that don't cut a stamped image, but add another fun touch to the stamped images and a little bit more creativity as well as value to that die set. So in this case, we've got this beautiful leaf with all of this detail that you'll get. This, it will cut and emboss those veins on the leaves to smaller leaves. And then you have this really fun corn on the cob. And so you've got this piece here that will cut the corn. This cuts the background piece, the corn layers together, and the color of this piece then will showcase through your corn. And then you have the topper for your corn. So let's take a look at a few cards. And I will tell you, with this set, I challenged myself not to use any of the dies in the set, because I've gotten a few comments from new crafters and new stampers about, I don't own a die machine. Do I have to buy the bundle? Can I get just the stamps? And absolutely you can, and you're going to see that on 2 of the samples in this case that don't use any of the dies from here, okay? So let's take a look at those samples. This is the first one, and I embossed the flower image over and over again down the side in gold. It matches this piece of paper from the All About Autumn. These little leaves are not die cut. It's one of my favorite punches. It's called the Bough, B-O-U-G-H, Bough Punch. Extremely versatile little sprig of leaves that you can do everywhere. We have some ribbon, and then wishing you many blessings. and we have the little banner piece tucked in behind that. Something real different here. This is the 2 pairs, and there's actually a piece of white cardstock right here where my fingers are. So this width, the first black lines that you see, I went ahead then and just edged that piece of cardstock with a marker. Before I put this piece of cardstock down that the pairs are on, I stamped the leaves, put the cardstock down, and then I ran the marker so that the leaves looked like it was on top of it, if that makes sense. Added 2 little embellishments and the word hello friend, and just a real simple different type of layering, a great way to use your markers, and again, no die cuts used on this card whatsoever. And then this card here does use a die cut, but not from the stamp. This card here is just a panel card. A panel card just uses a 1/4 sheet of cardstock as your card base. It doesn't have a traditional fold. Instead, that comes from the top of the card, and the message is created with our nested essentials. And I used olive as the base. I did tone on tone olive, but to break the olive up, the old olive. This was texturized with the Timeless Worn embossing folder. And then this is paper again from the All About Autumn. And then we used our blends to color this piece right here. So 2 tips for you about this. You can easily create a fold on many of your shape dies, whether they're circles, squares, anything that has a bit of an edge to it, even some of your tags and things. And what you're going to need is a piece of cardstock that is a little over twice the length of the die that you're trying to cut if you want a fold, because you're going to fold in half, okay? So it doesn't matter, you know, what size it is, as long as what you're going to be cutting, when you fold it in half, this would fit on. And when you're going to die cut it, you're going to lay it just like a hair beyond the fold. If I put this up here, you can probably see just a little bit. See the fold up there? And then when I die cut it, I have it opening and closing. And that's actually, if you saw the Them Bones video and I used the nested essentials to make a coffin, that was the same way that I did that piece as well. And then one other little tip for you. There are these great banner pieces that are part of the Stylish Shapes, but they're only so long. I am forever cutting mine apart and then stretching them and tucking them behind so that they look a lot longer. You saw that technique on this card, and without realizing it maybe, you saw the same technique on this card as well. So no, you do not always need the dies for the stamp sets. You can also use scissors. Stampin' Up! Has amazing scissors called snips. We do something called fussy cutting where you actually cut, and that is actually how I got this image. I did not die cut it. I cut it with scissors. So you can indeed use your scissors to cut out images as well if you're a new crafter and don't have a stamp cut and emboss machine and maybe don't want to go the way of die cutting. So just to answer that question and give you some samples on the Fruitful Blessings. This is a beautiful stamp set. This one was a lot of fun to play with. Try to tell you which ones I've enjoyed, which ones I didn't enjoy, which ones were challenging. This one was a little bit challenging, just trying to figure out the crate. Once I figured that out, oh my gosh, I just wanted to play with this one all day long. So I'm going to show you how to put the crate together as part of this stamp set. But for this one here called Rustic Crate, you have a wood slat, you have your fall pumpkins, you have your growing garden, you have your poinsettias. Every day with you is better, blessed beyond measure, good things take time and for you. And so while maybe 2 of the images are what we would call seasonal, autumn and holidays, the greetings are by no means holiday at all. They don't mention Christmas, they don't mention autumn, they don't mention fall, they don't mention happy holidays, right? So this is an actually really, really great set. And just like Fruitful Blessings, again, you can choose to color them with your blends, with your markers, with the aqua painters, with pastels. There's lots of different ways you can choose to emboss them, lots of ways to color them and make them show up. And then for the dies, you're going to have a die that cuts all of the greenery out, a die that cuts the poinsettias out, a die that cuts our pumpkin and sunflowers, and then you have a die that cuts that wood panel out. So you do have the ability to cut them if you are into embossing. Of course, you can always freehand cut. But if you are into embossing and you get the dies, that means you get all these fun bonus pieces. You're going to get these bonus gloves, which I'm going to figure out a way yet how to put these on the skeleton. You're going to get the sweet little word hello. So you're going to be able to die cut the word hello. And then you have pieces to create a crate on the front of your card. The front of the crate that has a wood grain look to it, and all of the crate front piece and then the back piece are scored. So once you die cut them, you'll have score lines. You have the opportunity to use this as a handle on your basket. Then you have different labels that you can use on the front of your basket again if you want to, or I can see other ways of using this with library books and things like that. And then you have different elements that you're going to be able to create more accents on your basket. So showing you what they look like cut out, and I didn't punch the little holes out of this one, but you can see these, and the glove actually has a little line for the border, the labels, there's the handle, you can see hopefully the wood grain there, the score lines, and then the other pieces that cut stamped images. So let's take a look at a few samples, and then I want to give you a fun, simple and easy tip. So here's the first one that I created. This paper here is actually from the Nativity suite. I love, again, mixing and matching Stampin' Up's papers. It really adds to the value and the versatility. And for me, I like investing in things that I'm going to get multiple uses out of, that I can use in a lot of different ways. If there's really only about one way I can use it, I really don't have a place for it here in my studio. Again, I want my money's worth. We work hard for every dollar that we earn, right, as people, and so we want a big bang for that dollar that we work hard to earn. So here, a little bit of twine. I've got the basket, and you can see that the wood grain really pops. That's a tip I'm going to show you in a minute. I used 2 of the little slats. This paper here is from the Garden Walk suite. And then I colored the entire pumpkin image. This is what it looks like. Okay, I colored the entire thing twice, okay? And what I did then was on the second one, I cut out the sunflowers, and they're raised so that they can come up over the edge of the crate. So I added those up and bounced them up just a little bit and tore the edge. The paper from the annual catalog called Masterfully Made has me tearing everything. I'm back to tearing everything. So here is another one for you. And this shows you the crate with a tag on the front. I didn't put any greeting on it, but the greeting in the stamp set for you does fit on this label. I did cut and color the poinsettias twice. Little darker red behind, and then on the front drawing from the paper, I used the paper as my color inspiration. We actually have that bubble gum, and we have the bubble bath, and real red is in this paper, and again, this is from the Garden Walk. This paper here, let me see if I didn't adhere it down too good, if I can remember where this piece came from. I think this is Winter Meadow, but don't quote me on it, okay? But I used, again, paper from different packs. And then some of those new flat discs that are in the Mary Bold and Bright suite. Oh my gosh, they were just perfect for this. And in this case, I didn't put any greeting. I do not always put a greeting on the front of my card. Sometimes I just let the image speak, and then everything that I want to say goes on the inside. So there are times where I don't put a greeting on it because I don't know how I'm going to use the card. And then there's times I don't put a greeting on it just because I want the image to speak. I don't want anything else messing it up. Oh, and on this one here, you can also see the handle used on the basket. So, and then one more for you. Again, I pulled out some of the Christmas paper and just used all different shades of greens on the flowers. Now this piece is that stamped image right here. Hello, and you can see the little garden gloves. So we've got 3 fun samples for you with those, but let me give you that little tip, and I want to show you how to assemble this die. So When I get new dies, a lot of times I just start cutting so that I have a whole bunch of pieces to help me out. I'm going to have my little master here because I don't always put things together and talk well at the same time, so I want to have my little pattern. So this piece here is your background. You have a little fold, and if you just kind of run your finger over them, you can also use your bone folder just to give them a nice score. And in this case, liquid glue is the best, or you could also use glue dots, just because there's such small lines and places that you're going to put. And all of these you're going to push to the inside. So you're going to fold them all in. And I'm going to go ahead and just put a little bit of glue. This little mat right here is a silicone mat. It's great for working with adhesives and, oops, well, a lot of adhesives here, Janet. Let me just take some of that off and pass it around. A little bit more than I wanted. So it's okay, it won't go to waste. And, which is why, I mean, I love liquid glue and I'm falling more and more in love with it every day. But it took me a long time, I'm going to be honest, to fall in love with liquid glue because I was like a 2-year-old at kindergarten in art class, okay? I had glue everywhere. My fingers were always sticking together and things like that. So I've got these folded in. You're going to see that this matches the shape. And I'm going to put these two on here. And yeah, see, I'm going to end up with glue on my fingers anyway. Somebody needs to invent silicone gloves so that you can wear them while you're doing your assembly. But that's what it looks like. And let me open this back up again. And I will take a picture of this when I post the cards and samples so that you can have a better understanding. But that's what it looks like. And there is space then down inside for you to tuck flowers and tuck your elements like I did on both of these cards. So then one more tip for you, very easy tip. And let me find the die, hold on just a second. So any die that has ridges and different things that you want to maybe pop when you are die cutting them and add a little bit of color to them, one of the ways that I like to do it is actually before I even die cut. I like to use a blending brush, and I'm going to take that blending brush and I'm going to just tap color right on the die. And so you can see I've tapped color right on the die. And then when I run it through my die cutting machine, I'm going to get that color pressed down into the cardstock. And I do this quite often, and I love this effect. It really adds to the dimension of what the artisans have created with the dies. And then with your dies, they'll simply just rinse clean. The only thing that I want to caution you on is that once you rinse it clean, dry it immediately, pat it dry. It is metal, the dies are metal. And like any good metal, when it gets wet, if you don't personally dry it off right away, it can rust. So just having the ink on it won't cause it to rust. You can set that aside for a few minutes while you're working. But then when you're done and ready to put the dies away, rinse it with water and then make sure it's good and dry before you put it away in its little case and storage and things like that. So hopefully you guys are enjoying all of the new products, all of the new samples. I really am loving having a reason to play with all of the new goodies. And we still have a bunch more nights. I'm going to be here every night at 9 p.m. through Sunday the 13th. That will be our last night of product preview. And then we'll go back to our regular programming of just doing fun videos, different cards. And then several of the cards I'm going to be taking and in future videos after the 13th, literally making the card for you step by step by step. So for those of you who want to learn a little bit more about coloring or a little bit more about card assembly and things like that. I know in this case, I've only been giving you small little tips and things like that, but I will actually be taking cards that we've showcased. So I think right now with these 6, we're up to 62 cards that we've showcased in the videos so far since we started last Thursday. I will be pulling some and I will be doing them step by step for you. So anytime you have any questions, simply ask them below. It works best if you type my name in so I get a notification that, hey, someone mentioned you. And that usually means that it's a question or something like that. Don't forget, if you don't have a demonstrator, need a catalog, let me know. And I will see you guys tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, and we'll start looking at a little bit more of the holiday products. Thanks, guys.